Hi, YouTubers. Thank you for tuning in to my first ever show. I'm Hashim, and today is my first ever YouTube video. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm a little bit nervous to make it, as beginnings go. They're stressful, they're new, but I hope you enjoy my video. I hope it's not too painful to watch. But if you stick around, I promise my future videos will get better, and I'll put out better content as the channel gets bigger. And so for now, I'm going to be talking about Pol Pot for this video and how he embodies the archetype of Voldemort. The archetype of Voldemort being that of the Slytherin and most importantly the snake and the such. The snake, the shapeshifter, the shadow. So first of all, I want to make a disclaimer. I do not claim the connection I'm making to be true. It's just a fan theory, an interesting idea that I've come up with, and I thought it'd be interesting for Harry Potter enthusiasts and academics studying politics and communism. So without further ado, let's get down to it. Well, before I get down to it, I want to talk about my inspiration when it came to making this video. So I took a politics class last semester, and I'm taking again this semester. Last semester I dealt with revolutionary movements like in Russia, China, Cambodia, Iran, and we dealt with the voluntary and structural causes of those revolutions. Towards the end of the course, we started talking about the Cambodian Revolution and Pol Pot. And as soon as the professor mentioned his name, which I'll come to later in the video, I thought, and his values, I thought I have to make a video, this is going to be hilarious. So, beyond hilarious, it's interesting. Also, I want to look into, the deeper meaning of Harry Potter, in this case, fascism, and maybe revolution even. So, first of all, let's start with introducing Harry Potter. First of all, I love Harry Potter. It's a wonderful story. I find it has so many metaphors. It's very Jungian. You have the shadow, the hero dealing with the shadow, and yeah. So, anyways, in Harry Potter, there's this character called Salazar Slytherin, and he started the House of Slytherin. And he was one of the 4 greatest wizards of all time. He believed that all students at Hogwarts should be pure-blooded, and he shunned all muggle-born witches and wizards. So unless you were pure-blooded, you were inferior. That was his value. His successor, aka the heir of Slytherin, aka Voldemort, also backs his claim. When he comes into power, he also, despite being half-blood, he supports this idea of pure-blooded superiority. Being a Slytherin is represented by the snake and different characteristics so supposedly correlated with the snake: resourcefulness, cunning, ambition, determination, leadership, self-preservation, fraternity, and lineage. I find a lot of these values apply to Pol Pot, who I'm talking about today. So now let's go on to, now that we had a bit of a background on Harry Potter and Voldemort, who I'm going to be comparing Pol Pot with, let's go into who Pol Pot is. So enter Salazar. Interesting, if you remember, we were talking about Salazar Slytherin earlier. He was a Cambodian revolutionary. He ruled as the Prime Minister of Cambodia from 1976 to 1979. He believed that the peasants carried the true revolutionary spirit at its purest sense and could be awakened to rise up to the level of the proletarian, and that all other parties must be done away with. So you see there's that purest sense of superiority being applied in his politics. And this is opposed to Marxist or Karl Marx, who essentially saw the peasants as a sack of potatoes. So, similar to Voldemort being an heir of Slytherin, being an heir of Slytherin, he changed his name with up to 99 pseudonyms. So PolPot, this dude, he had a lot of names. And he believed, if you look in Wikipedia, that the more you change your name, the better, as this would confuse your enemies. So this name changing went so far that his own family did not know who he was because of the name that he went by, PolPot. So now here comes the comparison. Voldemort, heir of Slytherin, he changed his name many times because he did not want to be associated with his quote-unquote muggle-born father. So similarly, PolPot, he was not really associated with his family at that point once he was in power because they didn't really know who he was. If you look in the history, they did not know that he was PolPot. That was how good he was at hiding his identity and confusing his quote-unquote enemies. Yeah. So, now going on. Yeah, they both are responsible, Voldemort, PolPot. They're both responsible for numerous deaths, one being fictional, one being non-fictional. Funny enough, the non-fictional crimes are way worse than the fictional crimes. Like, Voldemort, he killed some people. He killed a lot of people, yeah. But PolPot, he killed like millions of people. Yeah, so when they both came into power, they both, killed a lot of people in the uprising. And they hold similar ideologies. One in regard to being a pure revolutionary, and the other one in regards to being a pure witch and wizard. Yeah. Now comes the crazier question. Did J.K. Rowling write about Salazar Slytherin and his heir with such similarities in characteristics and naming? So, did she write about this guy, Salazar Slytherin, with PolPot in mind? Or is it just a mere coincidence that is inevitable when dealing with high tones of fascism and conformity? So, yeah, what do you think? Do you think that, being British, maybe she has something against communism, being that it's not England, where she's from, is not communistic, even though they did have a communist party a few years ago. You could check it on Wikipedia. So, yeah, let me know what you think of this idea, Both PolPot, Voldemort having purist ideas of who is better. Yeah. So, yeah, let me know in the comments. What you think of this. And again, I hope you enjoyed my first ever video. And I hope this wasn't too painful to watch. In the future, I want to explain something like our primal instincts and why I decide to call it the monkey spirit. So there's some Hindu undertones there, I think, if you think about the Hindu monkey god. I also want to write another script coming up for Valentine's Day because there was this event at school where we were supposed to talk about love, but instead I went to a cooking class. So I hope to make up for that lost experience by myself by making a YouTube video on my own. All on my own, Luke Skywalker. Anyways. Yeah, I want to talk about Valentine's Day. I want to talk about love on Valentine's Day because I'm a loving kind of guy. But jokes aside, I was inspired to do this when there was this event. Yeah. Anyways, I'll see you in my next episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you can find my social media info in the description of this video. So until then, peace out.